Walking through the Higashi Chaya district, one can clearly see that the place is different from the rest of the city of Kanazawa. The buildings are all wooden, and the design looks centuries old. This is because the district is in fact 200 years old, and many of the buildings are the very same buildings that existed 200 years ago. This is both by design and by good fortune that the district has managed to retain much of its original architecture from 200 years ago. During World War II, much of Japan was bombed by the Allied forces, which destroyed a lot of the country's old buildings and districts. Kanazawa, which didn't hold any military importance, nor was it a large population center, managed to avoid getting attacked. This allowed Higashi Chaya's historic buildings to remain undamaged, while so many other buildings from a similar time period were destroyed. Recognizing the cultural importance behind preserving its country's ancient buildings, Japan began designating specific buildings and districts as sites of cultural importance, important places that would be remained preserved and maintained. This was so that future generations could see the culture and history of Japan's past. Higashi Chaya was originally one of the districts being considered in the 1970s as a candidate for such a designation. However, residents of the district, along with Kanazawa officials, were hesitant to have the district preserved. For much of the history of Higashi Chaya, it had operated as a pleasure district, offering prostitution, and the locals did not want the history of exploitation and sex to be preserved within the district. So, Higashi Chaya was passed over as a site for historical preservation at the time. It was only later, when the locals began to see the economic benefits and tourism that other preservation districts in Japan were bringing in, that they put forth their support of recognizing Higashi Chaya as a preservation district. So, it was in 2001 that the Higashi Chaya district was officially allocated as an important preservation district for groups of historic buildings. Now that you have heard about preservation in Higashi Chaya, do you want to hear about how tourism has affected this preservation? Or you can go back to the menu to choose a different topic.